Good morning, CEOs. Good morning, CEOs, co-creators of extraordinary outcomes. It is Monday morning, 7:30 a.m., and I am here. My name is Coach B, and again, welcome, CEO, co-creators of extraordinary outcomes. We have a great topic. When I say we, I mean I. Yes. So I have a great topic for you today. Today's topic, personal and professional growth. It's a matter of life. Whew. Let me repeat that title again. Personal and professional growth. It's a matter of life. That is the topic for today. As we normally do, I just want to do a check-in with people, find out how people are doing. How's everybody? How was your weekend? It was Resurrection Sunday yesterday. For those of you who practice a particular religion, just want to say happy belated Resurrection Day. The message was powerful yesterday. I listened to a number of broadcasters. Somebody is checking in. Listen, if you want to leave a comment, hit the link in the Facebook or YouTube. There's a StreamYard link. What it does is give you permission to come join me. You can leave a comment. I can post it and do those things. And I'll show you right now what that would potentially look like. So if you leave a comment on Facebook, your name will come up, and whatever your comment is, that will come up too. If you're on YouTube, it will look similar to this. And again, if you're on Facebook, very similar. But I want to get back to what I was saying in reference to yesterday being Resurrection Sunday. I listened to a number of podcasts yesterday. I went to a different church yesterday. Right now, I am looking into what is calling my spirit to it. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we move on in the weeks ahead. But right now, how's everybody else doing? How was your weekend? What did you do? And if you do celebrate Resurrection on Sunday, leave a comment in the chat so that we can know and I can reply to your comment and just have an interaction and engagement with you. Again, my name is Coach B, and if you're looking for me on YouTube, that is Coach B, the CEO. That is the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. We want to thank our regular listeners. We want to thank the people that listen on the replay. We want to thank the new subscribers, the old subscribers. I want to thank you for all of the support. But back to the topic. I'm moving a little ahead of myself, so let me just slow down a little bit. Just a reminder that the Let's Get It Done, this is for you. The live coaching experience will happen Saturday, July 15, 2023 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Registration will open up April 15th. I believe that's this week. But moving into the topic, personal and professional growth is a matter of life. When I tell you about my weekend and I tie it into ongoing topics, future topics, a lot of this will tie in and make a lot of sense to people, right? So personal and professional growth is a matter of life. If you've ever heard the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, I'm here to say that's not true. If you have the mindset that you're too old to learn something, then that would mean that your professional and your personal growth is at a standstill. It's stagnated. Personal and professional growth happens to be one of my favorite topics of all time. Personal and professional growth. Favorite topic, something that I live by when I'm working with my coaches. This is what we talk about. This is where we are in personal or professional growth. It's essential. It's a matter of life. When we come into the world, there's this concept called lifespan development. And so, from the time that we're born or conceived, let me just go back a little further. From the time that we're conceived to the time that we, our end day. And again, I have to be very careful about words that I use on YouTube. So I want to be careful and mindful. So from the time of conception until the last day, there's an opportunity for what? Physical development. And then there is personal development. Once we are born into the world, we're constantly growing, we're constantly learning. But when we reach a certain age, we are looking at our identity, who we are, what's our purpose in life, and how do we achieve what is our purpose in life. And for some people, our purpose in life is to get a good paying job, be secure, take care of our family, and grow. Get a raise, climb up the ladder, retire. That is the chain of events. When we think about personal growth, it's ongoing because personal growth has a lot to do with our internal mechanisms. And what do I mean by that? When I say our internal mechanism, how we emote, how we feel, how we think, our physical health, our spiritual health. If I am in a mindset that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, then my level of growth will be stagnated because there's nothing to learn, there's nothing to do. When I think about this process, internal plus external, what I'm thinking of is the way that I thought when I was 10 years old, the way that I think when I was 25 years old, the way that I think when I'm 40 years old, there is going to be a difference. There's going to be a difference. Why? One, I'm exposed to more life experiences. I become knowledgeable about some things. So when I'm younger, I might see life through one lens. And then when I get older, or as I get older, I see life through a different lens. And I use me as the subject matter because I really don't want to talk about you per se, but I could speak in general, right? That we as a people, when we're younger, we think one way. When we get older, we think another way. It is in the getting to know ourselves, the self-awareness, that changes the outcomes in our lives. So the way I perceive myself, my self-concept can impact my world concept, my world view. So if I see myself as a person that can't learn new things or do new things, then I will stop growing right at that point. Right at that point, I'll stop growing because there's nothing to strive for. There's nothing new to do. When I say that personal and professional growth is an ongoing process, that is for people who want to learn or do something different or be something different, right? Growth can be progressive, meaning moving forward, progression, progress, moving forward. The ability to learn, the ability to do new things, the ability to obtain knowledge, right? All of that right there is progression. But something else can happen. I can get stuck in my ways, the stagnation, think that I know it all, stagnation, not be open minded to new concepts, new ideas, new beliefs, new ways of doing things, and I'll become stagnated. Or in general, people become stagnated because they know it all. There's no space, no room to learn or do anything different. And then we have regression or regressiveness, right? That means to go backwards, to go backwards. And how can we go backwards? I can go backwards, or we can go backwards by doing things from the past, doing the same old thing. And then what? Expecting different results. 9 times out of 10, that won't work. Being progressive, right? And I'm trying to cut down on the word right. So that's why I pause afterwards, because I'm taking note of how many times I'm saying it. And so maybe you guys can help me out too, right? And then I just said it again. Anyway, when I think about personal growth, I'm thinking responsibility and accountability. There's some internal and external, right? Who? The who. The who am I being? Who am I responsible to? And if by chance I should falter, am I accountable? Do I say, hey, listen, this is what happened. This is the mistake that I made. This is how I faltered. And then put in an action step, what we call a CAP, in the work field, a corrective action plan to do what? To change the mistake, to learn from the mistake and move forward. And move forward. So I'm responsible for whether or not I grow or not. Whether I grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, whether I grow or not, I'm responsible for that. And I'm accountable to myself first and foremost. First and foremost, I'm accountable to myself. There is rather this terminology, taking total responsibility. In other words, if I don't like something in my life, then I need to find a way to change it. Hopefully, in a healthy way, in a way that is not harmful to myself or others. Now, that's not to say that unintentional harm cannot happen, but I'm talking about intentional harm, not creating intentional harm. I'm responsible for my finances. I'm responsible for my spiritual growth. I'm responsible for my emotional growth. I'm responsible for my cognitive, my mental growth. I'm responsible for that. I'm responsible for my self concept, how I see myself, how I view myself. I'm responsible for that. And you might say, wow, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a lot. It could feel daunting, or it could feel like, wow, that's amazing that I actually am responsible for myself. See, I'm not a child anymore. I'm not a child, I'm an adult. So I am responsible for my happiness. I'm responsible for my joy. I'm responsible for my freedom. I'm responsible for the way my home is taken care of or not taken care of. I can't go around blaming other people, places, and things for what's in my life or what's not in my life, because I'm responsible for those things. Now, does that mean that even if I show up greatly and phenomenal, that everything is going to go my way 100% of the time? No. What am I responsible for, though? I'm responsible for showing up in my life the most powerful way that I can. That's what I'm responsible for. I'm responsible for showing up in my life, taking care of me to the best of my ability. That's what I'm responsible for. And because I believe in personal growth and I believe in professional growth, there's always opportunities for me to learn more about myself. I'm not the person that I was 10, 15 years ago. I see somebody watching. Thank you for your support. I'm not the person that I was 10, 15 years ago. I have different responsibilities. I'm getting a little bit older. I see the world differently. And most people, likewise, the same thing. Either I'm moving forward or I'm moving backwards or I'm stagnated. And you might say, well, Coach B, what does this have to do with me? So the question would be, are you moving forward in your life? Are you taking personal responsibility, total responsibility for your actions, for the way that you're being in the world? Are you taking responsibilities? And if you fall short, if there's some kind of regression, you falter, are you being accountable and creating a plan, a corrective action plan to put yourself back on track? So back to yesterday, Resurrection Sunday. I was listening to the pastor speak, and he was talking about that sometimes our trauma can create stagnation in our lives. Some of us are tied to the trauma and it created an identity. Remember, I spoke about self-concept earlier, that it creates an identity that's who we think we really are. And I'm going to use myself for an example. And if you could relate, put it in a comment, like, share, subscribe. I thought when I was younger that I had to be tough. I had to be tough. And as a direct result of thinking that I had to be tough all the time, I created this persona that I'm serious, 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 serious. I'm tough, I'm tough, I'm tough. Don't mess with me. You're going to get your feelings hurt. Don't mess with me. I'm not to be taken lightly. I'm not a joke. Don't play with me. And I built this persona because I thought that's what I needed to do, because that's what was told to me. And what happened, or what's happening now, is like, no, that's not who I am. I like to have fun. I'm a big kid at heart. I like to laugh. I like to joke. I like to be silly. I'm a big kid at heart. I love to laugh. I love to joke. I love to play. But that persona that I created doesn't allow me to play, laugh, and have fun as often as I could. And so when the pastor was speaking on this yesterday, I was like, oh, wow. Not that it was the first time that I heard it, but I was like, oh, wow, I'm growing in a new direction because I've realized this is not what I want to do. This is not where I want to be. And then if you listen to the last few videos, these broadcasts, you've been hearing me saying, oh, no, this is not what I want. So when I think about my creative future, I'm looking to have more fun. Not because it's springtime or summertime. I'm looking to have more fun. I'm looking to do more things that bring me joy, irrespective of what others might think, irrespective of what others might feel. Because I'm responsible for my joy, my freedom, my happiness. I'm responsible for that. Right? I said right again. I'm responsible for that. I'm responsible for that. Not another human being. My job can't make me happy. My family can't make me happy. A significant other can't make me happy. I'm responsible for my happiness. And where's that start at? That starts with my mindset. That starts with my self-concept. That starts with me taking a deep look at, hey, Coach B. And this is applicable for everybody. This is applicable for everybody. Like I said, I'm using me because I can't talk about you, but I can generalize, not overgeneralize, but I can generalize what I'm saying, because what I do know for a fact is that people, right? People struggle with their roles and their identities in life. What's my role? What's my identity? What's my purpose? What's my role? What's my identity in life? And I could tell you, here's the hit. I could tell you that relating to myself, doing the work, because this is what the pastor talked about too. And I was like so on point with it. So on point. That when you do the work, and you identify the role and identity that you created for whatever reason, and I just use myself as an example, for whatever reason, whatever role that is, or whatever identity that you created out of some kind of survival, you'll realize that identity and that role that you created is not serving you. It's not serving you at all. It's not serving you. Matter of fact, it's keeping you stagnated. When I'm working with people, right? When I'm working with coaches, what are we creating? We don't want to work in a defaulted future, meaning what? Doing the same old thing. We want a created future in the here and now. In the here and now, the right now. Because it's a matter of life. See, I can't wait 10, 15, 20 more years to figure out what my future is going to be. Like I got to arrive there before I know what it is. No, my creative future starts today. It starts today. I get to choose what my future is going to look like. I get to choose that. I get to choose today whether or not I'm going to be happy. I get to choose today whether or not I'm going to be joy. I get to choose today if I'm going to be leadership. That's my choice. That's my responsibility to choose what's best for me. You get to choose your happiness, your joy, your freedom. You get to choose that today. This is the wonderful world of coaching. And so there's all kinds of coaches out there. And for whatever you need, do whatever you need. For me, the life coaching and the personal development is key, because when I'm developing and I'm showing up powerfully and I'm showing up as a leader, everything else around me will change. Guaranteed, it will change. People will respond to you differently. If I'm showing up in the world as a victim, the world is going to treat me like a victim. If I'm showing up in the world as needy and greedy, the world is going to treat me like that. The world is going to respond, because that's the signal. That's the bat signal that I'm sending out. So this thing of personal growth, professional growth, it's a matter of life. And when I say it's a matter of life, I'm talking about quality of life. What's the quality of life that you want to have right now, moving into your future? What's the quality of life that you want to have? And it begins and ends with you today, not tomorrow, today, not tomorrow, today. What are you taking total responsibility for? Who are you accountable to? What are you taking responsibility for? Coach B, what are you taking responsibility for? I'm taking responsibility for me. For me. For me. Because I'm not responsible for other people. They have the same task and the same responsibility to be responsible to them. Now, you might say, well, there's a slight contradiction in there, because if people are coming from a place of trauma and drama and all of that stuff, how can they be responsible? I'll tell you this is something that I do know, that the pain will outweigh the pain and the change will happen. Because really, as we're growing through life, sometimes we just get sick and tired of ourselves and the environment that we're creating, and we want to change. We want to do something different. So I don't have to necessarily worry about other people, whether or not they're being responsible or not being responsible in their life. That's none of my business. But my business is to be responsible to and for me. And if I should falter, make a mistake, backslide, whatever language you want to use, then it's up to me to be accountable, first and foremost to me, and then to everybody else. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I see there's 2 people watching. Thank you for your support. Really appreciate it. You can leave a comment in the chat if you want, and I will respond. This here has been your Monday Morning Magic. We meet here every Monday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will be here, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Today's topic, personal and professional growth. It's a matter of life. It starts with me and who I be and how I show up in all the areas of my life. Depends on me. Depends on how I see myself. Depends on how I see the world. When I change my focus and my perspective, everything, not some things, but everything around me changes. This has been your Monday